What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for the day. Today is Monday, so not a super eventful day. I mean, we see some Sunday plays, so Sunday, Monday, pretty slow days for us. I will say that's going to change in probably the next week because NFL is going to be kicking off in early September, and then obviously Sunday football is going to be huge, and then Monday, there's a Monday night game, every single week too, so that's going to add to Mondays a little bit, but yeah, for the time being, Sunday, Monday, pretty light days for us, and you'll see here we do have a hit, which is nice. I took the over and the under, even though it looks like this guy went fully green. He did just get 12 kills, and his line was 12.5, so he goes under, and then this guy does go over. So, what ended up happening is this Lion team ends up having a really good game, too. This guy gets like 22 assists or something crazy like that in the game, too, because they dominated the game, and this guy only gets like 2 kills or something like that in that second game, so he does not get that many kills, and the other guy gets a ton of kills and assists. And then you actually see the opposite happen over here. And as I said a couple of days ago, guys, like the 2-mans are honestly doing okay. These 4-mans have been absolutely brutal for us. I mean, I feel like we've hit maybe like less than 2 of them this whole month, which is crazy. I mean, we normally hit one, I would say every other day or every third day or something like that. And this whole entire August, we've maybe hit like 2 this entire month. It's been insane. The 4-mans are really the thing that have just not been not been going our way at all, right? You'll see here I take kind of a very similar concept where I take an over and an under, and what ends up happening is the opposite, right? So the opposite does happen. So these things are very, very correlated together. We just unfortunately, are sometimes seeing red, and I take a college football duo here, try to get some setups for next week, which is going to be huge. Next college football week, I'm really looking to get a ton of setups for us. This game here was honestly probably more of a heartbreaking one. I take the under, great call on the under, and I take the over here. This guy gets 10 assists in the first map, and then the second map he only gets 2 assists even in a win, so he picked a really bad champion that only gets 2 assists. I mean, it was unlucky. At that certain point, I knew this team was going to dominate the other team. That's what they did, but he had a really, really low assist total. And if you guys look here, we're going to talk about Caden Salter and Amarian Miller a little bit later in today's video, so keep that in mind, guys. And then I will say, here's I have the screenshot just to show you guys that, like, guys, the 4-mans are a huge part of the VIP, right? They have not been doing well whatsoever these past, honestly, all of August, right? The 4-mans have been horrible, but when it does come back around, it hits very hard, and you'll see these 8Xs, these 8.5Xs, these 9Xs. This is like how we generate so much profit normally on the VIP and why we are so profitable for the long term. I show this stuff every day, guys. Since May 1st, we're up about 90 units. This is over the summer. We were at one point in time up like 140 units, and we have had a really bad downturn, but that is part of betting. Betting is very frustrating. There's ups and downs in betting, and you'll see that here, in last year's graph. So last year's graph, there's over 3,000 bets, as you guys can see, and we actually went on a pretty bad downturn. I believe this was in, I don't know, I think this was in like December or something. We went on a pretty bad downturn towards the end of the year last year, and then eventually rocketed back up, over that next month or whatever it was. So you guys will see here, we are on a pretty bad downturn, but eventually, guys, we're going to shoot back up. I know it. It's happened before on this channel. April is probably our worst month ever, and April, we came back in that first week of May, or like first 2 weeks in May, and already doubled up the amount of profit that we lost. I know it sounds crazy right now, but it happens, guys. Once these 10Xs start hitting, we just start rocketing up in profit like crazy. All right, so let's get into today's video. Let's get into today's plays. Let's start having a winning culture again. I'm so ready to have a winning culture again. And yeah, just starting kind of equalizing and not getting unlucky anymore. So I will say there's 2 discounts today, okay? So we have Asia Wilson, and then we have Emmett Sheehan. I don't know how to say his name, honestly. The only reason I'm taking it is because it is a discount. So go ahead and take either of those. I'm just taking this pitcher because he's a little bit later in the day, so you guys will have a little bit more time to get that in. And then I'm pairing him up with Larson, okay, on League of Legends. So it's Navi versus Giant X. You guys will see. And this Navi team that Larson is on is, I mean, I don't know how to put it, but they're just really, really not a good team at all. They're just not a good team. They just recently have signed a lot of new players, and this team is not working well for each other at all. So the way you can think about it is this is kind of a Division 1 league, and they are the worst team by far in that Division 1 league, and they had to sign a lot of people from Division 2 and even Division 3 leagues, okay? So they signed a lot of not so great people onto this team, and they're not working out, right? So far in this squad that they have built, I believe they are 0-6 or 0-7, something like that. They've lost every single game straight. And in that stretch, Larson has only averaged 2.8 assists per game. So that would put him at about 5 to 6 assists. Now, that's a small sample size. Obviously, I'd like to see something more like 15 games or something. But again, this team is not very good. They're playing Giant X, which is kind of middle of the road, so to speak. They're not like amazing, but they're not horrible either. Giant X should easily 2-0 them. So Giant X, the team that they're playing, should be able to clean sweep them. Navi wins 0 games at all and does not win 1 game. And that's going to cause Larson to go under. Okay, guys? Now, there were a couple of times where Larson has gone over this in the past, but that was with an older lineup that was actually better, okay? So they were a pretty bad team, and then they something happened. They got restructured into the new team name called Navi. They were called Rogue, okay? Now they're called Navi, and with this Navi team, they have gotten actually way worse. So, again, you know, a win could always happen. They could go ahead and win this game, but I think, you know, if you did play this game out 30 times, I think the Giant X team probably takes maybe 28 of them or 25 of them, something like that, guys. I will also say this is not what I am actually taking with it, but I do want to say that this pick right here, you know, I told you guys I wanted to talk about Caden Salter and Amarian Miller. Caden Salter and Amarian Miller, this is probably my favorite combination so far that I've looked at for college football. So I obviously made a college football video yesterday with the Clemson and the LSU game. That's kind of a standalone pick in itself. I really like that four-man. But Caden Salter and Amarian Miller as a 2-man combination. So if you wanted to add this into a 4-man, if you wanted to make this a 4-man, you could go ahead and do that and just pick Caden Salter and Amarian Miller to go under. I'll probably get more into this during the week, but Caden Salter is a running quarterback. He runs the ball a lot. He played for Liberty last year and then transferred to Colorado. He runs the ball like crazy. And a lot of times in a lot of games for Liberty, he would only pass like maybe 15 times and he'd get like 150 to 170 yards. Amarian Miller, I don't really know too much about him, to be honest, but again, getting 60 yards is going to be a lot with Caden Salter. I really think Caden Salter's line should be more like the 170 range, which I know is crazy to say, but I really think that this line is a little bit inflated just because it's Colorado, just because they have Deion Sanders. I think people think Deion Sanders and Colorado are going to have a really strong pass attack once again, but the only real reason they had a strong pass attack last year is because they had multiple NFL receivers and quarterbacks, right? They had Shadur Sanders, they had Jimmy Horn, they have Travis Hunter, obviously, and then they had, you know, some Wester as well. I believe he got picked up by some team too, maybe in like the 7th round or something. But they had like maybe 3 to 4 NFL receivers, right? And I do not think that they do that again. So I'm going to take them under 2. So this is going to be a standalone pick. You guys can put this in a 4-man. So you guys could take the lightning bolt pick. You guys could take Larson, and you guys could take the unders. I'm personally just playing this as a 2-man. You know, obviously try to get some momentum building, but that is going to be the plays for the day, guys. If you guys do want to get into my VIP, I'm just starting up, you know, obviously college football season starting in a couple of days now. NFL is going to be starting in about a week. And if you guys don't know, we have gone up close to 300 units in college football last year, and then close to 200 units in the NFL last year, guys. I know we're on a pretty bad downturn right now, but you guys will actually see, I looked at this the other day, you guys will actually see in the NFL last year, we kind of did have a little bit of a plummet also. I don't know when this was, right? I can't even remember when this was, but then we bounced back up out of this, right? And that's just kind of the how these things work sometimes. You know, the 4-man, sometimes you're going to hit like 3 or 4 in a row or something crazy like that. And then sometimes you might go on a 30-play drought. And we're kind of in the middle of that drought right now. So if you do want to get into the VIP, guys, here's the instructions to do so. All you have to do is text me the word Bovada, sign up to Bovada. You'll get 2 free months of my VIP. It helps me out. It helps you guys out. You guys will obviously get in completely free. You guys can try it out. And what you'll do is put $25 into Bovada, and then I'm going to pay you guys back that money. So you'll put some money in, and then I'm paying you guys back that. And it's super simple to do. So that'll be in the description as well as the pinned comment. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.